Hey guys, so this is going to be Evangeline's 1 week update, and I guess we'll start out talking about her growth. So, when she was born, she weighed 7 pounds and 15 ounces, and when we took her to the doctor for her follow-up, like once you leave the hospital, they schedule you a follow-up with the pediatrician, and it was only, we'd only been gone from the hospital like 3 days, so she was 5 days old, and she weighed in at 7'10", so she'd only lost 5 ounces since birth, which wasn't bad. And he's got an appointment set up to recheck her growth again and to determine how well she's doing. So when Evangeline was born, the pediatrician who looked her over, he's the same one who looked over Abrielle, and he's like their main one there at the hospital. He did make a comment about her being tongue-tied, and if you don't know what that is, you've heard the phrase, but it's actually a condition, and basically the little membrane under her tongue, it is too short and tight, so it doesn't allow her to fully extend her tongue up to properly latch to nurse, and it can cause some speech problems when she's older. It's not a major deal, and there's a minor little procedural thing that they can do. They clip it to correct the problem. But when Brown told us about it, he didn't think it was a big deal because Evangeline can extend her tongue past her bottom gum, so he didn't think that it was going to be a problem, and said it was basically, up to us. And with him saying, that he didn't think it would be a problem, we decided that we weren't going to have that done to her. So then, like the very next day in the hospital, when the lactation consultant came and saw us, she noticed it and she made a big deal out of it and brought in another pediatrician who I kind of feel like basically said that if we don't clip her tongue, we're bad parents, and said that she would have a lisp and she would have difficulty eating and all this other stuff. And we still said that we wanted to think about it and talk about it and do a little bit of our own research. And we brought Dr. Brown back in and talked to him again about it. And he said the same thing. And he said that it was a really controversial thing nowadays, and that it used to be done really commonly, and then it kind of fell out of favor, and now it's back on on the table. It's a little hot topic, I guess, in the world of pediatrics. Whether it really makes a difference or not, a lot of the times though, the problem corrects itself within the first year of life. So, I don't know, obviously we left the hospital and decided not to do it, and when we took her in, her pediatrician did bring it up, and we basically said that, we wanted some more time to think about it, and to really weigh the options, because I have mixed feelings about letting them clip her tongue. The idea of her having a speech impediment does not bother me. And you might say, well, why would that not bother you? Or why would I let her go through life, if I knew that? For the simple fact of when I was a child, I had issues with my speech, and I had to do speech therapy all throughout elementary school, and I have had no problems as an adult. It has not affected my quality of life, and it was just how I was. I don't know, looking back, I don't think it was that big of a deal. I was never ashamed of it as a child. I'll admit, it got me teased some in elementary school, but I never remember thinking back and hating that about myself or anything like that, so I just didn't feel like it was that big of a deal. I've got a really good friend, a guy that I went to church with. I've known him for years and years. He has a lisp, and he's a pre-med student. He does fine on his own. Her pediatrician, my daughters, both of them, they have the same doctor. Their doctor has a lisp. It's not a big deal. I don't feel like it is. And it's not going to... I just don't feel like it's a big deal. So, with that being said, that's still an issue that we've got to decide on and resolve. For her first week, Evangeline has been breastfed. She's obviously in newborn clothes and newborn diapers. And basically all she does is nurse and cry and poop and sleep. I wish she did more of the sleeping. She's really different from Abrielle in that she doesn't sleep as much and she won't sleep as long. We've had some difficulties with the nursing, and I'd already decided when I did my postpartum video that I'm going to make a separate video talking about breastfeeding for this first week and where that's possibly headed. But when it comes to Evangeline, I mean, she's a newborn. She's just a typical newborn. She is, I feel like, really fussy. I thought that, I don't, well, I guess that's silly saying it that way, but basically, I can tell there's a huge difference in her and Abrielle. Obviously, a lot of her personality is not showing yet because she is still so small and so young, but I do feel like there's a huge difference in the girls. Evangeline is way more fussy, and good luck putting her down. It's very difficult to put her down in her bassinet or her sleeper or in her swing or anything like that and go and get anything done. That's very difficult to do. So she's challenging in ways that I didn't experience with Abrielle. And right now she's like super quiet and sleepy and precious. Obviously I did give her a pacifier already, and I really, I know some doctors harp nipple confusion and blah blah blah, all that. Personally, considering they're already harping the whole tongue-tied thing, I don't see how it could do that much harm. I gave Abrielle one, and she self-weaned off that before she was even 6 months old. I don't have a problem with giving them a pacifier, and considering this is only one of the rare times when Evangeline will actually take the thing, I don't think it poses that much of a problem. She's had a pacifier now pretty much since we came home from the hospital, and it has posed no problems. I haven't noticed any changes whatsoever that I think are due to it, so I don't really care, that she has that. It doesn't bother me at all to give it to her. If it helps her, that's good, because that also helps me, and in turn that helps everyone in the household. But that is really pretty much it. I mean, she's a week old, she's a newborn. Like I said, she cries, she nurses, she sleeps, and she poops. That's about it. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video, and I will see you guys next week. So bye.